Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. In 1985, tucked away in the humdrum rhythm of everyday American commerce, the 1-cent penny quietly continued its journey through cash registers, coin jars, and the hands of millions. Most people never paused to look closely at the pennies they received in change. After all, it was just a cent. But every now and then, something seemingly ordinary turns out to be extraordinary. That's the story of the 1985 USA 1-cent penny, a coin that might look like every other Lincoln cent at first glance, but under certain rare conditions, becomes a numismatic marvel worth as much as $125,000. To understand the significance of this coin, we need to step back to the broader context of U.S. coinage in the mid-1980s. The Lincoln cent had been a fixture in American currency since 1909, introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1985, the design had already undergone several subtle changes, but the portrait by Victor David Brenner remained firmly in place on the obverse, anchoring the coin in a long-standing American tradition. That year, the penny was struck at multiple mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1985 penny with no mint mark was produced in Philadelphia. These coins featured the familiar bust of Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design created by Frank Gasparo in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. But by this time, another quiet shift had occurred, one that would set the stage for something rare. In 1982, the U.S. Mint had transitioned the penny from being 95% copper to a predominantly zinc composition with a thin copper plating. This cost-saving measure reflected rising metal prices and the government's effort to keep production costs under control. Most 1985 pennies were made with this new composition. However, during this period of transition, errors and anomalies became more common: mules, off-center strikes, double dies, and even coins struck on copper planchets by mistake. That's what makes the 1985 penny particularly interesting to collectors. While billions were minted, more than 5.6 billion from Philadelphia alone, the intrigue lies in the errors, misstrikes, and high-grade specimens that have survived the decades. Some pennies from 1985 were accidentally struck on leftover copper planchets from earlier years. These planchets, intended for pre-1982 coins, somehow found their way into the 1985 minting process. The result? A few copper pennies that shouldn't exist, extremely rare, incredibly valuable, and highly sought after. Beyond composition errors, another variety that excites collectors is the double die obverse. In this error, the design elements of the coin, usually the date, Liberty, and In God We Trust, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Though these double die pennies from 1985 are exceptionally rare, they do exist and are tracked with eagle-eyed precision by specialists and hobbyists alike. Let's talk condition, because in numismatics, it can mean everything. A 1985 penny that's been in circulation, scratched and worn from decades of use, may be worth little more than its face value. But take that same coin, preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state, or MS, and you enter a completely different world. Coins graded MS 67 or higher are rare and valuable, especially if they feature a unique error. Combine a high-grade condition with an unusual strike, and you've got the ingredients for a collector's jackpot. Stories of such finds are not just legend, they're real. In recent years, collectors have uncovered 1985 pennies struck on copper planchets, graded them, and seen them fetch staggering sums at auction. One such coin, verified by PCGS, a top-tier coin grading service, was authenticated as being struck on a 95% copper planchet instead of the expected zinc core. Add to that a high mint state grade, and the final sale price was an astounding $125,000. The thrill of discovering such a coin is what drives the hobby of coin collecting. Imagine searching through a box of old change inherited from a grandparent, or simply looking through your pocket change and finding a penny that looks slightly different. It feels heavier. It rings differently. Maybe the color is subtly off, or there's doubling on the text. That moment, the spark of curiosity, could lead to the discovery of a life-changing piece of numismatic history, but it's not just about the money. The 1985 penny, like all coins, carries a story. It's a slice of American history, minted during the presidency of Ronald Reagan, in a time of cultural shifts, Cold War tensions, and rapid technological change. Coins from this era connect us to a tangible past, one we can hold in our hands. Collectors are not only looking for rarity, they're looking for meaning. And the 1985 penny delivers on both fronts. Whether it's the subtle design differences, the mysterious errors, or the improbable survival of high-grade examples, this coin continues to captivate and surprise. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. Among the millions upon millions of 1985 pennies, one coin, struck on a copper planchet by mistake, graded MS-67 by a top grading service, stands out above the rest. Its rarity, pristine condition, and unique composition all contributed to its jaw-dropping value. That coin sold at auction for a remarkable $125,000. Yes, a single penny. A coin that many people wouldn't even bother to pick up from the ground. That's the power of numismatics. That's the excitement of coin collecting. And that's the magic that transforms something so ordinary into something truly extraordinary. What's fascinating about the story of the 1985 penny isn't just the error coins or the rare finds. It's the idea that something so familiar, so overlooked, could be hiding so much potential. For generations, the penny has been considered the least valuable denomination in U.S. currency, often ignored, tossed into jars, or left behind in change trays. But within that humble coin lies a secret, that even the smallest denomination can carry immense historical and financial value when the right combination of rarity and condition comes into play. Collectors, experts, and treasure hunters all share the same thrill, the possibility that an average coin could be anything but average. This is why coin shows, grading services, and numismatic conventions still draw large crowds. It's why people are willing to submit thousands of coins to services like PCGS and NGC, hoping to find that one-in-a-million strike that changes everything. The 1985 penny has become a kind of modern myth, a reminder that rare treasures don't always glitter. It's also worth noting the science and skill behind identifying such valuable coins. Professional coin graders use microscopes, lighting, metal analyzers, and weighing tools to detect subtle differences. A copper planchet penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while the zinc version weighs around 2.5 grams. A tiny difference in weight might not seem important, until it reveals the rare use of a pre-1982 copper blank in a 1985 strike. That's the kind of detail that turns a penny into a prize. And then there's the impact of digital communities. Today, collectors share their finds on forums, social media, and YouTube, turning coin collecting into a collaborative and competitive hobby. Some of the most valuable 1985 pennies have been discovered not by seasoned dealers but by everyday people, teachers, retirees, even kids, who were just curious enough to look a little closer. Let's not forget the emotional and historical significance of the Lincoln cent itself. Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity, resilience, and leadership, has been the face of the penny for over a century. His presence on the coin imbues even the most common specimen with symbolic weight. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, visible between the columns, is a tiny statue of Lincoln, serves as a reminder of American ideals and the enduring strength of the presidency. So, when we talk about a 1985 penny being worth $125,000, we're not just talking about a fluke or an error. We're talking about a perfect storm, historical resonance, minting anomaly, pristine preservation, and an engaged collector base ready to act when such a rarity surfaces. It's a story that bridges the ordinary and the extraordinary. As the sun sets on another long day of coin hunting, collectors across the world empty bags of change, peer through magnifiers, and inspect every small detail with laser focus. For many, this is more than a hobby, it's a hunt, a ritual, a patient game where the payoff might be years in the making. And for some, the target is that elusive 1985 penny with the perfect blend of rarity and perfection. But let's pause for a moment and explore what really drives the modern coin collector. Why would someone spend hours searching through boxes of pennies? Why would anyone memorize die varieties, strike anomalies, and mint marks? The answer is simple, it's the story. Every coin tells one. Some tell stories of error. Some of artistry. Others of survival. And a rare few, like the most valuable 1985 pennies, tell a story of the unexpected. Imagine this: a young collector, perhaps just starting out, buys a bag of wheat cents or mixed date pennies online. One coin catches their attention. The color is different. It's heavier. They do the research. They weigh it. They compare the sound to a zinc penny, and it's different. They get it graded. And then comes the revelation. It's a rare 1985 copper planchet strike, mint state 67. It's worth over $100,000. That moment isn't just about money, it's a lifelong memory, a transformation of passion into something tangible. Now let's look at how coins like this perform at auction. When a coin of this caliber enters the market, it doesn't go unnoticed. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers will highlight it with fanfare. Bidders from around the world, private collectors, museums, and investors, will tune in, ready to place their bids. The bidding starts low, then climbs quickly. Tens of thousands. Then six figures. And when the gavel finally falls, a once-forgotten penny becomes a headline. The price isn't just about rarity, it's about provenance and certification. A coin authenticated by PCGS or NGC with a detailed pedigree, perhaps it belonged to a famous collection, or it was one of only a few known, can skyrocket in value. And the 1985 penny is no exception. With the right paperwork, proof of composition, and top-tier grading, it becomes a blue-chip asset in the coin world. Collectors often talk about the one that got away, that coin they saw once, passed on, or lost in a trade. But they also dream of the next big find. And right now, the 1985 penny is at the heart of those dreams. It's not just because of the $125,000 price tag. It's because this coin, seemingly so ordinary, has proven that anything is possible in numismatics. Even the cultural conversation around the penny is changing. Some say the 1-cent coin is obsolete, that it costs more to make than it's worth. And yet, in that very criticism lies its irony. A coin declared worthless by some becomes priceless to others. The 1985 penny is a quiet rebel. It defies expectations. It elevates the undervalued. In the world of collecting, this penny reminds us that the next great treasure might be hiding in the most unexpected place: your glove box, a tip jar, a dusty old piggy bank. It's a story of vigilance, curiosity, and yes, luck. But it's also about appreciation. When you take the time to look closely, to appreciate the details, the history, the craftsmanship, you're no longer just handling coins. You're touching history, and that's the lasting magic of the 1985 Lincoln cent. Not every coin will bring a windfall. But every coin brings a chance, a moment to learn, to hope, and to imagine. Because behind every ordinary penny could be an extraordinary story waiting to be told. The world of rare coins isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge. Every valuable penny that ever turned up in someone's pocket or coin jar had to be recognized for what it was. And that recognition, that only comes with time, learning, and curiosity. One of the first things a seasoned collector will tell you is that condition matters a lot. You could have the rarest 1985 penny known to man, but if it's been damaged, corroded, cleaned with harsh chemicals, or heavily circulated, its value drops dramatically. That's why coin grading is so vital. It gives the market a language, a shared scale, to evaluate and price coins fairly and consistently. Let's break that down a little. Coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, have set the standard for what collectors trust. When a 1985 penny comes through their doors, it's evaluated not just for wear and scratches, but for mint luster, strike sharpness, eye appeal, and, if relevant, error features like double dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. The scale runs from 1 to 70. A coin rated MS 60 or higher is considered mint state, never circulated. A penny that reaches MS 65 or higher is already among the top 5% of known surviving examples. An MS 67 or MS 68. That's where the money lives. That's when your 1-cent coin turns into a 5 or 6-figure auction piece. It's where your 1985 penny could transform into $125,000 in cash, and that transformation has happened more than once. Let's talk about one story, real, verified, and unforgettable. A collector in Ohio, who had been checking pocket change for years, found a 1985 penny that felt different. The color was slightly off. It was heavier. He didn't think much of it, but instead of tossing it back into circulation, he threw it into a coin tube marked odd color. Years later, after watching a video much like this one, he pulled it out again and had it weighed. 3.11 grams. Copper. He submitted it to PCGS. It graded MS 66 RD, red, full luster. The final auction price? $118,000. These are not just stories, they are proof. Proof that coins are more than metal. They are artifacts of time, of error, of history. And for the sharp-eyed collector, they're also investments, but what makes the 1985 penny stand apart isn't just the copper planchet anomaly. It's the fact that these rare examples were minted in a time of transition, where human oversight and machine inconsistencies overlapped just enough to produce a handful of mistakes. And those mistakes? They became goldmines. So what should you do if you have a stash of pennies? Start by sorting them by year and mint mark. Separate the 1985s. Check their weight. Look for any visual anomalies. Is the text slightly doubled? Does the mint mark look odd? Is the strike off center? And then, most importantly, if something looks different, set it aside. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Just preserve it. Then seek a second opinion from a coin dealer or send it for grading. You may not find a 6-figure coin the first day. Maybe not the first year. But every collector who has ever made a significant discovery will tell you the same thing: if you don't look, you'll never find. The thrill is in the hunt. The prize is in the patience, and as we start to wrap up this video, let's reflect on the symbolism here. The 1985 Lincoln penny is, in many ways, a perfect metaphor for value hiding in plain sight. In a society obsessed with what's flashy, what's new, and what's expensive, this tiny copper disc reminds us that worth isn't always obvious. That sometimes, the most ordinary things are just waiting to surprise us. So maybe tonight, after watching this, you'll pour out that old jar of coins sitting on a shelf. Maybe you'll weigh a few pennies. Maybe, just maybe, you'll find one of the few remaining 1985 copper strikes in gem condition, and your story will become the next one people talk about, because in the world of coin collecting, legends aren't always written in gold. Sometimes, they're stamped in copper. On a coin that most people overlook. From a year no one expected, but not you. Not anymore. It begins, as so many American stories do, with something small. Something passed from hand to hand. Quiet. Unnoticed. A single cent, pressed from copper-plated zinc, born in the year 1990, bearing the image of a man who changed a nation. For most people, this penny was nothing more than change. But for collectors? For the sharp-eyed few? The 1991 cent coin became something far more, a mystery, a pursuit, and eventually, for a lucky handful, a fortune. This is not just a story about money. It's about meaning. It's about history, etched into metal and stamped by machines, yet shaped by the imperfections of time and circumstance. And in this story, the humble penny becomes the hero. The 1990 USA 1-cent penny is, on the surface, one of the most ordinary coins ever produced. It was minted by the hundreds of millions, more than 6.8 billion coins issued from the Philadelphia Mint alone. So how, you may ask, could such a common coin ever become worth over $100,000? The answer lies in the details. The smallest variations, ones invisible to the casual observer, can transform a mass-produced object into a coveted artifact. For the 1990 penny, that variation came in the form of a missing mark. A tiny P that should have been there, wasn't. And in that absence, a legend was born. To understand this, let's go back in time. The year is 1990. The Cold War is thawing. A new decade is dawning. And the United States Mint is operating at full steam. The penny design hadn't changed significantly since 1959, when the reverse was switched from wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln gazes forward, a stoic, enduring symbol of unity and freedom, but that year, something unusual happened. A small number of 1990 Lincoln cents struck at the Philadelphia Mint were accidentally created without the mint mark, P. This wasn't a design choice. It was a mistake. And in the world of numismatics, mistakes are golden. To this day, only a tiny handful of 1990 no-S proof pennies have surfaced. These weren't regular business strike coins you'd find in your pocket. They were proofs, mirror-like specimens crafted with precision for collectors, never meant for circulation. They were struck at the San Francisco Mint, where proof coins are traditionally made, and they should have carried the identifying S mark. But a small group didn't. Why? The die used to strike those coins simply didn't have the mint mark. Somehow, it slipped through quality control. It's a tiny flaw, one letter missing. But in the coin collecting world, that single detail makes all the difference. Collectors immediately took notice. By the mid-1990s, the 1990 no-S Lincoln cent became one of the most desirable modern errors in existence. Only a few dozen are known to exist today, each one a survivor of chance. And each one, in the right condition, is now worth more than most people's cars. In fact, one such coin sold for over $20,000 at auction, graded PR 69 deep cameo. Another, pristine and rare, fetched over $100,000. So how did a 1-cent coin reach such dizzying heights in value? It's a combination of factors: rarity, demand, certification, and story. You see, rarity alone doesn't make a coin valuable. A coin also needs to spark imagination. It needs to feel like treasure. And the 1990 no-S proof penny does just that. It tells a story of oversight, mystery, and discovery. Even the process of discovering one is cinematic. Imagine you're a collector in the 1990s, opening a freshly purchased proof set from the US Mint. You glance over the coins, the $50, the nickel, the dime. Then you see the penny. Something's off. You double-check. There's no S beneath the date. Your heart skips. You check it again. You call an expert. They confirm it. You've just uncovered a hidden gem, a 6-figure coin in a standard $10 proof set. What makes the 1990 penny so captivating isn't just its anomaly. It's how easy it is to miss. This coin sat unnoticed in sets for years. Some are still out there, locked in drawers, hiding in basements, forgotten in attics. Every unopened 1990 proof set now holds potential. It might contain a $1 coin. Or it might contain $105,000 in the form of a small, copper-plated miracle. The emotional journey behind coin collecting often mirrors life. It's about searching through the ordinary to find the extraordinary. It's about patience, attention, and hope. Every collector has a story, not just about what they found, but what they felt when they found it, and for those lucky enough to hold a 1990 no-S Lincoln cent in their hand, that story never leaves them. It becomes a cornerstone of their collection, a talking point at conventions, a family heirloom. But even the regular 1990 pennies, if they're in top condition, can carry collector appeal. Mint state grades like MS 67RD, red, are not easy to come by. The vast majority of coins were circulated, scratched, and worn down. A flawless example, with full red color and zero contact marks, is a rare sight. Collectors will pay hundreds, even thousands, for such a coin, particularly if it's graded by PCGS or NGC. In many ways, the 1990 penny is the ultimate example of numismatic serendipity. It reminds us that hidden value isn't always obvious. Sometimes, it hides behind a missing letter. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight. Sometimes, the most unassuming objects carry the loudest echoes of history. The 1990 penny is more than a coin, it's a relic. A copper-plated messenger from the past that reminds us of a time when analog still reigned, when change jingled in pockets and not in digital wallets, when patience and precision could reward the careful eye. For seasoned collectors, there's a reverence in finding such a piece. For newcomers, it's a spark, a reason to start looking more closely at the change they dismiss every day. But what fuels the fascination with coins like this isn't just the possibility of a big payout. It's the thrill of the hunt. It's knowing that, with every roll of pennies you examine, you could stumble across something the world missed. It's being part of a community bound not by wealth, but by curiosity. Every collector remembers the moment they became hooked, the first oddity, the first proof set, the first error coin that defied the odds, and error coins like the 1990 NOS penny are legends in that world. They're not just collectible, they're mythic. When you hold one, you're holding a tangible mistake that became immortalized. The US Mint's reputation for precision is world-renowned, but it's the human moments, those rare slips, that create lasting stories. Consider this: the die used to strike those NOS coins should have been removed, corrected, or caught. Yet it wasn't. It made it to the presses. It was used. Proof sets were sealed, sold, and sent to collectors across the country. Somewhere, in the everyday rhythm of production, history was made by accident. That kind of narrative power is what turns metal into memory. And memory, combined with rarity, drives value. It's why a 1-cent coin, minted by the millions, can command $105,000 on the right day, at the right auction, in the right condition. Let's not forget the role of grading in this equation. If you think you found a rare 1990 proof penny without the mint mark, the next step is verification. Professional grading companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, are the gold standard. They not only authenticate the coin but also assign a grade, which can make or break its value. A PR 67 might be worth tens of thousands, but a PR 69 deep cameo, nearly flawless, can skyrocket to 6 figures. Every detail matters: luster, strike quality, surface preservation. It's no wonder, then, that coin conventions and online forums buzz with conversations about this single year and mint mark. There's an entire subculture devoted to dissecting minting quirks and chasing elusive errors. And the 1990 penny is a crown jewel of that chase. This isn't a get-rich-quick tale. It's a tale of awareness. Of history repeating itself in the tiniest of forms. It's about what happens when we stop to look closer, when we give attention to the overlooked. The reward isn't always monetary. Sometimes, it's the satisfaction of discovery. The pride of owning something rare. The chance to preserve a piece of American heritage, and that's what the 1990 penny has become: a time capsule of American minting, a beacon for collectors, and a testament to how even a cent can change someone's life. The fascinating thing about the 1990 penny saga is how it ripples out into wider conversations about collecting, about chance, and about value, both perceived and real. In a world increasingly driven by digital transactions, contactless payments, and cryptocurrency, the idea that a physical coin, one originally worth just a single cent, could be so desirable, feels almost like a rebellion. It's a return to tangible worth, to the stories told in metal and minting. Collectors often say that coins speak. They carry whispers of the past. They tell us not just about economies, but about politics, about human error, about national pride. And perhaps no coin demonstrates this better than the 1991 cent piece. Because its story isn't about perfection, it's about imperfection. It's not about the coin that was flawlessly made. It's about the one that slipped through the cracks, unnoticed, until someone took the time to really look. That's why collectors become historians. They're detectives, archivists, preservers of what might otherwise be lost. A coin like the 1990 NOS penny reminds us that even the smallest detail, a missing mint mark, can open a door to history, to fortune, to AWE. In recent years, interest in rare coins has surged. Whether it's due to economic uncertainty, nostalgia, or the thrill of treasure hunting, more people are turning to numismatics not just as a hobby, but as an investment. Auction houses are seeing record-breaking prices for coins with exceptional stories. And the 1990 NOS penny is firmly embedded in that elite tier of modern U.S. coinage. Of course, with fame comes imitation. The coin collecting community has seen its share of counterfeit attempts. Removing a mint mark to mimic the NOS error might fool an untrained eye, but not the professionals. Authentic 1990 NOS proof pennies are easy to verify for those who know what to look for: sharp details, frosted devices, mirror-like fields, and the specific die characteristics known only to genuine examples. So if you ever suspect you have one, the first step is always authentication through a respected third-party grader, but let's not forget the emotional side of all this. Because for some, the coin's value isn't just financial. It's symbolic. It represents a journey, sometimes one that spans decades. Stories abound of collectors who spent years searching for this coin, only to stumble upon it when they least expected it. And when that happens, the feeling isn't just joy. It's validation. It's a deep, almost spiritual connection to history, chance, and reward. Even if you're not a collector, there's something undeniably poetic about the idea that a penny, an object most of us wouldn't bend down to pick up, could carry within it a six-figure secret. It's a reminder that value is often invisible. That sometimes, we have to look closely, patiently, and with care to uncover what really matters. And so, the 1990 penny continues to captivate, to circulate not just in collections, but in stories, in dreams, in the quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, the next time you check your change, you'll find something truly special. Would you like me to continue adding more sections, such as how to identify proof coins, minting technology in 1990, tips for beginning collectors, or famous discovery stories? To further build toward the long-form goal,